All right, let's get into the part 2 and part 3 on the wild times clock, because the 1885th week from the part 2 being released in 89 is coming up on your King Spirit's birthday, which is attaching us to an 888 this time. And the King Spirit came on 1835, which is a 188, and this time it's a 188 as 1826. And then Big Beautiful Bill was 188/189 days ago, which is your July 4th, and you're in the time frame of the 91,100 and the crowning to the 200 and such, as the 9/11 is upon the earth, and that cue ball was shown for your July 4th, and all those as your Trojan, the T-Rope Jan, all those things are playing out in a different way. And then that horse year is coming up, and that's part of the Trojan horse, and all those things as it comes to open up the eggs, in a matter of speaking, for the dragon and serpent. So the Shinenbaum, the Michiko, the BRICS, the 17.3 trillion of the oil reserves there, that's going to attach you to your July 4th of 7/4 as you carry the 1 to the back, or you carry the 3 to the front. All right, so but the 3 are 1, those types of things, and that 1 point and the number king with the abbreviation, the no period, and those things as the King James Vance, the KJV lines up for you. So as you're in those 91,100 days, we're coming up on some sequences as your Trade Center 93 to September 11th attaches to 3,111 days, or 119 days, the 311.9. So, and then your King Spirit to the 311.21. That's gonna get you to your what was it? 31,109, something like that, but it's yeah. So that's the crowning. So these crownings and such, these eggs are going through different movements as we're on different clocks, and the Harry turns 42 this coming year, and then you turn the 33 years on the 93 for Bill Clinton. That's 5-year Bill, Big Beautiful Bill, and then your 26 is a flip on the 29 to 33, 29 to the 33 AD for your Jesus on the cross. Those times returning, all that stuff is playing out here for you. Okay, so your Spirit is 1776, Israel to 77, the 6-7 on the back side. All that's kind of lining up as you're in 2026, 2027. Either way, folks, it's going to tie to your alphabet and your and sign, the DNA on the back side, and that's where you've been shown that, well, there's a new blood, and there's see if you're human, and those kinds of things playing out as you have the interstellar visitors here and whatever else is going on. So 11/22/89, Back to the Future Part 2 came out, and then Part 3 is tied to 1885, the wild times. So these things are connection points, and then your King Spirit Day is going to align you with your 1885 weeks since Back to the Future Part 2, that 89 cycle came out, and we're basically from the king taming the dragon in a way, and then Maduro said he was the tiger. So this is going to the dojo, the dugo, the Dujo, and all those kinds of things, as the auto pin and the Obama, the dark sun and the moon, all those things are kind of brought, and the tablecloth is ripped for the which is the white side of the moon or whatever, but that's when the fine china and stuff goes kaput or whatever. You either got one magician that pulls it off, one magician that doesn't, or whatever. As you're going into this live quantum mechanics put upon Earth, and some of us were showing the positron. So when we bring it back, it's sending an electron, a negative state. So it's where we've seen shadows and these things, and numbers and dreams and visions, and we've been given this opportunity using our talents to go and take what was given, and take what was given, taking what's given, and use all these lights and bring the oil up, as we've seen the moon, Kamala, rising in the past, and certain times when the Christos, the oil, and all these things come together, that incarnation of Christ, the Antichrist, the anti-oil, all those things are coming, and those have been in our world as that ozone layer, that Oz one layer, and that Oz is before you with the Quran and the Mam Danny, the Mam Danny, the Dan, the line of the Antichrist. This is one of the kings as the garden's going dark, and you got the Black Adam and such as they're going to shed some type of light over here. Okay, so, and then you got the Newsom on that side. You got the Abominant Empire down there. You got the Day Satan on the seashore sands of Florida. Just all these little easy kingdoms set up, all right? And then you got the Days of Noah set up, and you got the Noah, physical Noah in Africa building so-called arks, and they're all running on there. So your BRICS, your petrodollar, your Petro Gustavo, your Gus, the Sick, the Purple Party, the Pill, the Bill, all those things are going, the Violet, the violins, okay? The stringed instruments ties to your lyres, the lyres, and the 88 keys on the keyboard, and the stringed instruments, that's pretty much infinity. Might be a good time to print off some maps of where you might need to go or want to go when the time gets to a certain time. And these can be spiritual maps or physical maps. And I say this because China was given control of your GPS systems and all these things a long time ago. And there was darkness upon the deep. That deep south, as these things come, and the sandy loam, and that's another Day Satan lining up in a way. But the BBB, the lower case, the 666 on a little mirror flip, how the man-child does it. The Elephant Party. Big beautiful Bill. The Don Nation, the Donation, the Do Nation, the Dojo, the Dogo. It's all coming. Literally and figuratively. As we are in that fight, and the figs are being whatever, and your little nutsack looks like some figs, right? And you're all getting this vasectomy for that vaccine and all these things going together. Woo! It's basically a transsexual. She can't breed anymore. And semen, sperm, it's kind of what separates you from the man from the boys. So you already been worked in with the old chop on day 8. That part 2 and part 3, we've been watching this in the so-called theater. Now it's going to your so-called blockbuster as your holiday season is here, and that horse and the ho 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 and all that's going. So as your neighborhood, that nay. Oh well. Your royals we're talking about, you got to get to know your neighbor. So all this is playing out. Either way, folks, we gotta go chop some hair. We gotta end it here, but we are reaching some pinnacle spots as far as a clock and these 80s and 90s and 70s and such that we've been tracking and putting together and whatever else to help us understand the darkness that creates our visible spectrum that we live in. And it's some type of algorithm, and the things of this earth that we project through us is a reflection of what we actually live in. So this is part of the quantum mechanics on Earth and such, as we are divided into these different units, and now we're in the cell structure, the one-on-one, and this is where the atom and the rib and all those things will be divided in one way, shape, or form. As this serpent comes to you, the motion picture given life, and it tells you what has taken place as the Red Queen has come in, and she sent the drones in, or the clones in, and whatever else to rebuild a hive and to help add or aid that hive as far as the colony on the ants, for the antichrist and that's such a thing, for the ants eye and that consciousness of that 9/11 so-called, that 144,000 that has marked those people through the delusion.